So, as we bid a fond farewell to Mormon, I hope in your mind's eye you can see this venerable old warrior, big man, who has now come to the end of his life. Maybe the image in your mind of him leaning against his probably equally big and powerful son, Moroni, who's much younger than him. And as Mormon then passes on these plates and these obligations to his son before Mormon's own death, I hope you can pause for just a moment and thank heaven for the life of this incredible prophet who spent so much time and energy and effort, not just to try to save his own people, but to try to save us today through his records. I love Mormon, and I'm thankful for what he did. Now we pass the baton to Moroni, who follows in his father's direct footsteps. He does very, very similar things. You'll notice when he starts writing, he doesn't intend to write the Book of Ether and the Book of Moroni. There's very little space left on the plates, and he thinks this is the end. He's just going to write a few summary statements and be finished. Look at verse 1. Behold, I, Moroni, do finish the record of my father Mormon. Behold, I have but few things to write, which things I have been commanded by my father. So he tells us that there was this great and tremendous battle at Cumorah, and that all of the Nephites have been hunted by the Lamanites. Tells us that his father was killed by them in verse 3, and I even remain alone to write the sad tale of destruction of my people. And then he introduces an interesting phrase here. 3 words at the end of that verse. He tells you that, behold, my people are gone, and I fulfill the commandment of my father, and whether they will slay me, I know not. Here he is, this great prophet, the son of Mormon, and he's got this incredible responsibility now to take care of these plates. And he says, I don't know if the Lamanites are going to slay me. I don't know. Notice verse 4, therefore I will write and hide up the records in the earth, and whither I go, it mattereth not. In other words, he could have said, I know not. I don't know where I'm going to go. But his point is, it doesn't matter. What matters is my covenant faithfulness to God. Notice verse 5. Behold, my father hath made this record, and he hath written the intent thereof. In other words, he's saying, look, he already told you why he wrote it. He wrote it so that you would believe the record of the Bible as well, and combine the two, you would believe in God. You'd believe in Christ. And behold, I would write it also if I had room upon the plates, but I have not, or I have none, for I am alone. He's like, I don't have room to write a lot of stuff, so I'm just gonna finish this. Notice the ending of verse 5. And how long the Lord will suffer that I may live, I know not. I love the fact that Moroni is using this principle to teach us today in the latter days, because he's definitely not writing this for anybody else, because all of his people have been killed, and the Lamanites, if they get a hold of the record, he knows they're going to destroy it. So he's writing to us today, and he's teaching us this principle that you don't have to know everything. If Elder Neil L. Anderson were here, he would say, you don't know everything, but you know enough to move forward in faith, to take those next steps of faith in your life. And that's what Moroni does. And it seems that as he moves forward in faith, other opportunities then open up to him that he didn't know about before. Like, you're now going to be safe, and here's some ore, make some metal plates, and expand the record. And by the way, translate the Jaredite story, because the people in the latter days need the Book of Ether. And then you can write another closing book and call it the Book of Moroni. You can see how all of that would just come over time. But he didn't start at point A knowing everything that was going to happen until he got to point Z. He just barely knew what was going to get him to point B at that point, and that is the point. He moved forward to point B, and then to point C, and then to point D. So brothers and sisters, as you and I move forward in life, we can gain great inspiration from this example to say, though I don't know everything, there's a God in heaven who does. And if I'll put my trust in him and move forward to the best of my ability, things are going to work out. We will prosper in the land in all the ways, not just the financial ways, but we'll prosper in the land in all the ways that God intends for us to prosper, to fulfill those responsibilities that we have.